Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have Stevan Anna with us. Namaskaram, Anna. Thank you for joining us.
Namaskaram, Vaisu.
Yes. Before we go into the podcast, I want you guys to check out Stevan Anna's YouTube and Instagram channel. He's the most awesome DJ with a spiritual twist. So I need you right now to go into his profile, check out his music, then come back. I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. Okay, Anna, they are back, I think. So before we go into the podcast, can you tell us about the DJ thing? Like, could you talk to us a bit about it?
Oh, it's a long story actually. Basically, I was studying, and while I was studying, I was not really the people who were teaching me were not really passionate about what they were teaching me, and at some point, I felt like I'm listening to someone who is not even passionate about what they're trying to teach me. How can I be passionate about this? And I ended up questioning if I really want to go into that or not. So I talked to a friend of mine. I told her I was working in the retail selling shoes because I was really into fashion at that time. And I asked her what should I do, and I don't know. And she said, you know what? When I was in the same situation, and I just went to the US for 1 year, and I took care of children, and I lived with the family, and I learned the language. Like, what is this? And she said it's called au pair. And so au pair is like you live for a year abroad, you live with a family by yourself, and you take care of children. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, 3, from like baby until maybe 11, 12 years old. So then I decided, well, I don't know what to do, so I rather do something else than what I'm doing right now. So I just went for it. And once I was in the US, I met through a friend of mine, I met a guy who was a DJ, and he it was his passion. He loved it. He was a really successful DJ in New York and San Francisco. He was basically traveling from the east to the west, and but the thing was, he never wanted to DJ in front of people. He was always like, this is his thing. He loves it. But he's not doing it for the money. He's not doing it for, he's not doing it in like big places. He has done it in his past, but now he's like, this is my passion, but I don't need to do, I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm just doing it because I love it. And I was like, wow, this is the first person that I meet in my life actually passionate about something, and they really want to do something, and they're not thinking about, how am I going to make money? How am I going to sustain this? They're just doing what they love, and somehow money is happening, And we about music, and if you look at my childhood pictures, most of them are either with cars or with instruments. Like drumming something, playing something, and it's quite interesting. But I never thought about this like before, but I did play the piano at the age of 9, I would say. 8 or 9, I started to play the piano because my teacher in when I went to school, she actually told my parents that it looks like I have ADHD. So, I was struggling to pay attention. I was not able to sit on the chair for more than a few minutes. I was like always moving around, jumping like all over. And she was like, I can't, if this kid is not able to sit, I can't teach. And I'm so grateful for her, because she didn't send me to the doctor. She said, maybe you should bring him to a person who's teaching an instrument. And I was like, my parents were okay, yes, let's do it. And so they brought me to a piano teacher, and I started to learn piano, and I was pretty passionate about it. I had a piano in my home and I liked it, but I was like, you know, I never wanted to play in front of people. I was playing for myself. I like it. It's fun, but it's not something that I want to make a career. It's not like I feel good when I do it. I'm calm, and actually, just playing that piano helped me so much that now when I listen to Sadhguru saying that the first thing that they do with the Sanskriti children in the morning, you know, the Sagisa, you know, like in Europe we do the do re mi fa
Oh,
sol la, you know,
yes,
you
Saregama
know
Padanisa.
that is, yeah. So now when I hear Sadhguru saying how to balance mind, how to, you know, bring children down, and especially children who have these like ADHD. Now when I look at it, I'm like, wow, it's like it's so true. I experienced this myself. That through music, so many things can happen, and that's, you know, I started to listen to Indian classical music, and I saw the change. Like before, I used to listen at that time when I like with this DJ, we were listening to old school. Um, yeah, we also listened to jazz and blues, and you know, like um, those kind of I would say his generation, you know, he was older than me. So the music that they listened to was mostly that, you know, jazz, blues, old school, and rap. That was the music. So that's kind of my history with music. And from there, I at some point at the age of 15, I was like, what am I really doing here? I already know this. I know how to play this. This is boring. It's always the same. It always sounds the same. And now, you know, like once I saw this DJ controller, you know, I have it. I have it
Yes,
here.
yes,
Once I saw this, I was like, so what is this?
yes. What is
Like
this?
what can you do with this? And you know, he was like, well, you know, basically this is like the piano note, you know, like like if you press here, you can actually set up like different instruments. So you can have four different instruments, and then on the other side you can have another four instruments. So you can actually play your own music, but also you have this, which is like a vinyl record. So like people used to listen to music and play the music. So it's similar, you know, the music on this side one song plays, and then on this side one song plays. But you can also, because you have one, two, three, four, so
Oh,
you can play four songs at the same time, you know. And then you have like filters, you have echoes, you have the tempo, you have like yeah, later in the show I can show you some just
finally,
to
I understood a little bit about. I always used to see DJ so and what
this
I
is like
yeah.
yeah, I mean I was never like paying attention too much to people DJing, you know, because to be honest, the experience that I had with DJs was they were just playing like one song and stopping, other one,
Yeah.
like, you know, it was like no transition. It was just songs. But then when I went to the US, like it was the first time when I went and with my friend to a bar and we were listening to a DJ, and I was like, this is so smooth. There's no like jumping, no, you know, I'm like, how does this work? And he was like, well, there's a whole science to music. Um, Basically it comes down to the keys, like the piano keys, you know. So there's like D minor, F minor, G, like, you know, like, so if you play a song you have to listen to and know the key, and you have to adjust the key to the other key. It's like so many things. And then also there's beats per minutes, BPM.
Okay.
And beats per minute is basically if you go into a club when it opens,
Mhm.
usually they play music which is, you know, very like chill and slow, and not like you don't go in a club at, I don't know, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and it's like, everybody's like going crazy. Because if you want to party until 2, 3 a.m. or however long, you can't start at 11, At 11 it has to be, calm and gentle and like, so the BPM that they start with is mostly maybe 75, 80 beats per minute, and then they go up until 160, 180, like the double amount. So they fasten up the music so the people are kind of, moving faster and going with it. And also, if you look at the heartbeat, like your heart beats in a certain frequency. So when you come into the club, if the beat is off, like too off, then you'll be like, it's not really. So there's, like I said, a science behind it. So one reason also why I love India so much is because it's so rooted in there, the science is so much rooted in there. So there's Hatha Yoga, which we make use of also by Om chanting. And so like Om chanting was one of the things which helped me so much in my life, because like I used to be not able to sit still for like at all. My thoughts were everywhere. And even now when somebody asks me, I'm doing meditation, but still my thoughts are everywhere, I always say Om chanting. Om chanting is like, it's the basic, but it's like, and I mean, of course, if you come from the West and you're like, what is this? And just another religion, like, why would I do Om? This is, nonsense. But if you listen to the explanation to it, like, if you really look at it and if you really pay attention to yourself doing it and just try, you don't even have to listen to, Sadhguru said, hey, it's this, just try. I like just recently I did the inner engineering online with my dad.
Oh, is it? Finally, great. Yeah.
So I mean, I was like, is he going to do it? And he was just like, he was doing it. And I was like, so what did you feel? And he said, I don't know, but I feel like whenever I feel unsettled, whenever I feel like angry or fearful, doubtful, I think I will do Om chant, And I was like, oh wow, that's interesting, like he never did this in his life, but he felt just a little bit calmer than before, a little bit more grounded. And I thought it's beautiful. Like just try. So yeah, music is a big part of my life.
Can I ask one thing? Like my most famous your video is actually the first video you sent me. Like I'm like, this can actually played in a DJ's place. So how did you come up with that? That Sadhguru talking about yoga and meditation. The first video you made for YouTube. Was it the first one you made? Yeah.
You mean the Mahashivratri?
Yeah, I think it's the Mahashivratri one. Yeah. Like the one I posted on TikTok and the one that Isha Foundation retweeted.
Yes.
Yes.
What about it?
So how did you come up with that? Like,
So
I'll link it in the description for anyone who wants to see it.
It's a crazy story, So I was at that time when I learned what DJing is and how to do it. I was like, okay, now I need to do it, So I went to the store. I bought this. It's like $700, It's not like back then. It's not like okay, I just go and buy it. It's like this is an investment that you don't just do. But I was like, whatever. I just want to do this. And I went in the store and I got it and I was like passionate about it. I came back and I was like, how does this even work? So I was like trying things and I was like, what? I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it was a mistake to buy this, Maybe I don't know how, like maybe I'm not talented or I don't even know how to do this. Maybe I just don't know how to do music. I'm just, I should do something else. And then I was like, frustrated, you know, oh, why is this not happening, and blah blah blah. And I was trying and trying and trying, and then at some point I was like, whatever, you know, leave it. So I just left it. I just left, but I brought it back from the United States to Germany. I put it in my, you know, like this huge thing. I put it in. I left like a large space of my um, luggage just for this, because I was like, what to do with this, you know? I can't like. So I brought it back, and I was like, okay, it's just that, like, it's just here with me. Every now and then I would go back to it, and nothing happened. And so the interesting thing about this is, my friend who was a DJ, he had multiple sclerosis, you know, like this is like he had like, in certain moments he would have like an almost an electric shock through his body, you know. He would have like intense pain, and his nerves, like the way that his brain functioned and the way that his body and his brain, they were not properly aligned, you know. And he actually used legal cannabis to treat it, not to heal it, because cannabis cannot heal. Cannabis can only help you to bear with the pain, to, you know, ease you down a little bit. And I mean, it is a medicinal plant. It's, you know, only that people are misusing it for other things. So he was like into this, and he had like, his cannabis was the best cannabis that was, I don't know, maybe not the best, but very high grade. And he, you know, we were hanging out, and one day he was like, so because he had a lot of cannabis, he also sold it. So he was like, it's crazy, because almost everybody that I met in the US was either taking drugs or dealing with drugs, you know. And unfortunately, not many of them were really happy in their life, even though, you know, they had moments of high and like feeling, wow, I'm alive, you know, I'm happy. But then they had this like crazy low. And I saw that, you know, I saw people who were taking different drugs, and I was like observing them and looking, because growing up in Germany, my parents come from Serbia, which is it's part of Europe, but it's more Eastern. It's more heavy influence from Turkish culture and Russian culture. So the language is very similar to Russian language, and the culture also, but it has this Turkish influence because the Turkish people came to the country at some point. So I'm the first generation who was born in Germany. And so growing up, I was like uh, not really like, drink was at 16, and it was a beer, you know, it was legal. Like at 16, it was like, now you can drink beer and wine, and from 18 you can drink hard liquor. So I was like, okay, what, you know, I'm going to do what they say. And then we had some alcohol, and then after some, towards 17, we started to party, and like, we started to drink other things and all that. And but other than alcohol, for me, it was, other things were not really around, you know. Nobody was really taking drugs, nobody was using drugs. So every now and then, maybe someone, maybe you would smell, you would, you know, it's like, but no, I was not really interested in it. So this was the first time where I really met someone who was like smoking every day, you know. And of course, he said, I mean, I saw him that it helped him in some way. At the same time, he said that he is an addict, you know. He needs it. If he doesn't have it, it's not a good day, you know. And well, he like, when he came, he was traveling from the east to the west, and every time he came to see my friend and me, he ended up gifting me a bag, like 6-7 different grains of cannabis, you know. And I was like, what to do with this, you know? So it's funny though. It's funny though. Like in my experience, I somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I did not use it as like I smoke and I go and party, you know. I was more like, you know, because of, I mean, yeah, I don't want to say because of him. I was open to it, you know. We ended up, going into the forest, going for a hike and smoke. You know, we would go into nature. We would listen to music. We would change, you know, like we would use it more for discovering who we really are and what we really like, instead of I want to feel high, I want to feel stoned, you know? Like, I don't know, it was a very different approach, I have to say. And somehow it kind of inspired and opened my creativity, you know? And that's what people maybe I know a lot of people that experience that, you know, they smoke cannabis and they start to be creative. And but what happened is I started to be I started to make up this thought, only when I smoke cannabis I can be creative. So again, I created this. I was not really addictive because I was not buying it. I was not getting, you know, somebody was just gifting me it and I was using it, you know. So I was not really, I wouldn't say addicted, but I was definitely, my mind was saying only if I have that, then I can feel like this, you know. So somehow this, whenever there were some days when I was smoking, I was playing the, you know, on my DJ pult, and I was like, oh, that sounds nice, you know. But whenever I didn't smoke, I was like, it's not happening, you know. So now, after doing the inner engineering, after going to India and all that, there was one day when I was just, you know, I was just like, I didn't really had anything to do in that moment. And I was like, maybe, you know, I should go back to DJing. Maybe I should try it, you know? So I went for it. And I was the person who would download a lot of music and have a lot of music available. You know, I would have beats and vocals and everything. I love to listen to different musics, you know, all kinds of music. If you look into my library, you don't know like where is this person from, which kind. I have like African music, salsa music from South America, music from Serbia, which is like heavy drums and trumpets, and then classical music and music from like Indian music, flutes and everything. So basically, I ended just sitting down with the DJ pult, and somehow I I felt like I was not doing it. I felt like it just happened, you know. Somehow I was sitting there, I found the song, I found the vocal, I just like I had no idea what I was doing, but it was just happening. And I was like, what? And I finished. I mean, now when I look at it, there's many things that can be improved, but for someone who has no idea how it works, I was like, this is pretty good, you know, it's not bad. And then this is the first time that I was like, I cannot just publish this song. I need some video, you know, because if you have a video, then like video and audio together always creates another experience. If you just have the audio, I mean, just audio means you can make up your own picture. Video and audio means, you know, it's like both is coming from someone. So maybe you have less place for things to imagine, but I just felt like it's more impactful to bring the words by using certain videos. So I opened up iMovie, which is like a basic software, you know, it's like you can do very little little things,
Not little. I have done most of my work in iMoves.
It's I mean, maybe you could, yeah, maybe it's fine, but you can't do videos like, like things that people are publishing now, where you have masking 3 different layers, and the transition which people do is crazy. So I went for it, and I just put some videos together, and I cut it, and again I felt myself in this flow. I felt myself, it just happened somehow. It just happened, and then I finished the video, and I was like, this is maybe, I don't know. I sent it to 2, 3 people, and they were like, "Dude, you need to put this on YouTube."
You did it in iMovies? Are you saying that that video you made it in iMovies?
And then I put it on YouTube. Yeah.
Did you actually?
But first I was.
That is so good editing. How you are saying to me you did all that editing in iMovies, that tuck transition with the beat and all?
It was the first time I used. I think it was maybe the first time I used iMovie.
Oh my God. No, but what I'm saying, it was so good. I thought you must have used some, some Final Cut.
No, no, oh no, iMovie, yeah. It's basic software, but it was somehow again. It's I was clicking something, and I'm not kidding. Something was just without me clicking it. Like I would click something, and something else would happen, and I was like looking at it. I was like, okay, this doesn't look bad. This actually looks really good.
Okay.
Or this color thing, with the beats, with the color beats. I don't know. I was like, okay, it's boring if I have the same if I have the same video all the time. Why don't I change it at one place? So I change it at one place, and I change it exactly where the beat hits, And I was like, maybe it's not a bad, like this. It was like a process, It was not me sitting there thinking, oh, what should I do next? It was just happening. And this was such a beautiful experience that happened, that kind of got me inspired to create more, and to really look into it. But honest, I'm still like, it's not happening on a daily basis with the music. I have a day where I'm like, just it's coming, and then I have a day where it's like not happening. But I kind of learned to let go, and just, if it's not happening, it's fine. If it's happening, awesome, whatever, it's and this, like, I used to be like, why is it not happening? I want it to happen now. And somehow, I don't know, it just happens. So it's a wonderful process. I'm enjoying it. I'm not really thinking about, how many people watching, how many, like, who's going to like it. It's not. I'm not thinking about, like, is this going to be my career? Am I going to make money? I'm just doing this because I like it. I just like it. It makes me joyful. I have fun, and yeah.
Awesome, Anna. Now let's like now what do I ask? Like so I think you got a lot of questions about Sadhanapada, about your seeker's journey. So before going into all that, let's start from. I think you covered a little bit about how that seeking started, but I want to know exactly how that longing started, that you wanted to know something more. Now the one thing is that I wanted to be like very raw, like whatever you genuinely experience. Like one thing I tell people is that whatever experience, like inner engineering might have given someone so much happiness, but for some people I genuinely observe it's okay, it's just okay. Some people didn't like it. So if it's like that for you, you just be with like that. I didn't like it, or I didn't like Sadhanapada. It was such a struggle. So let it be like that. I want the raw version. I do not. This is not like promotion that if you hear it, you should go for Sadhanapada. No, like whatever it was for you, just like that. If we can keep it, that would be awesome. So like actually, one Akka actually messaged me, like she was like I've been doing the Hatha Yoga teacher training, but I'm still, my mind is struggling. Yes, body I've become more stronger, but I'm struggling with my practices. The mental peace has not yet come. So when everyone is putting out reviews saying, oh, inner engineering, yes, inner engineering, I got this, I got that. I'm like, am I the only one struggling? So yes, I just wanted to let you, give a little perspective on that. So we can, you can start from your childhood, or like from where that seeking started, or something that you wanted to know. Like before in the call also, you were talking about some things to me. So if we can go into that, it would be very nice. Hey, Steven, and are you there? Are you there?
Yes,
okay. It just got cut for a moment. Yeah. Please.
I think, I think my connection should be fine, but we'll see.
Okay, wait. It just showed my let me just get into the other room. Maybe it'll be better. Yeah. Let's carry on.
Awesome. Well, so I grew up in a family which is influenced, or has a background in Christian religion, which is Christian Orthodox, but not really religious, like not going to the church every weekend. Mostly for certain celebrations like Easter and Christmas and things like that. But definitely, we had pictures, icons hanging and all that. So growing up, I was like, I hate going to church. I have to stand there. I have to, listen to someone talking about something. I don't really understand what they're saying. I don't really know what they're saying. Like, why do I have to be here? I don't really like this. And my parents, even my parents were like, like not really enjoying it. It was more, I don't know, just, it's like everybody does it. We should do it, And at some point, when I was 15, 16, I was like, yeah, I'm not going, it's not my thing. But honestly, now I can go to a church and I can like appreciate the art and the architecture and whoever came up with that, it's wonderful, wonderful. But at some point, somehow it got twisted up, people like, that I don't really want to go too much into this topic, but I had some moments with some people from my family who are pretty religious, and they had difficulties with me sitting there with them, like having a conversation, and I'm paying attention to my breath, while talking to them. I'm paying attention to my breath, because the things that they are saying are making me feel painful, like the way that they talk about themselves, about others, and they call themselves religious, like, and the way that they talk about others, I'm like, what? This does not make any sense. So I'm sitting there and I don't want to say anything because I don't want to make them feel bad, So I'm sitting there after I did after I went to India, I came back, I visited Serbia, and I was sitting there and I was like paying attention to my breath to calm myself down, to not go crazy. And so one of my family members, she was like, I was sitting with my left heel at the Muladhara, because Sadhguru explains the whole reason why we sit like that, and it just makes sense. Just if you sit like this is the only way to really sit comfortable for a long period of time without having to take care of, certain things that the body wants. So it's, I was sitting, I was breathing, and after, when they were leaving, she looked at me and she was like, so do you think you are something better because of this Buddhist teachings that you have learned? And I'm like, I look at her and I'm like, what do you mean? What kind, like, Buddhist? So she made up this conclusion about me just because I was breathing, like just because I was, not not reacting on what she said because she wanted me to react. I was calm about it. And she was like, she was offended. She was offended that I was able to stay calm.
Okay.
It was such an interesting experience, you know. So I mean, yeah. So this, you know, growing up, I was surrounded by different people, but I never was seeking. Never. Like I was the kind of a person who would throw trash out of the car. You know, I did not care about nature. I did not care about humans. I did like me. How? What am I getting out of this? How am I going to benefit the most? And I was always, even with my parents, I was the person who would only go to them if they need something. If I don't need something, what? Do I have to ask you how are you doing? How's your job? How was your day? No, I don't even care. At that time, I was like completely isolated, you know, just me. And actually, um, I I would say the transition happened when I went to the US. You know, I kind of got a little bit space from my parents, from my home, from everything that I thought was me. And I was somewhere where I don't know anybody. I don't know, I can't speak the language, but not really like that well. It's a different culture. Everything is like new. And somehow in that situation, I found myself, you know, like I had some space to actually see what I like, what I'm passionate about, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, and yeah, maybe not like in that sense, like and dislike, but just what am I passionate about? What do I want to do in my life? You know, and at some point, I started to go to the gym, you know, I was sitting because everybody around me, I mean, the culture in the US was just like that. You know, you go to the store, you buy some food for the microwave, you put it in the microwave, and then you just see that you get enough protein, enough, you know, like you take care of all these nutritional things, and then you go. I was passionate about the gym, not because I liked the gym, because I wanted to look good and I wanted the people to like me, you know. So I went to the gym and everything, and I was like happy in the sense I was happy about the way I looked, and I was happy about my life because I lived with a family who was really like pretty wealthy. The dad was a professor at the Yale University, which is like one of the major, like the major university in the U.S. And I had my own gym. I had my own car.
Oh.
I had we had a whirlpool. We had a sauna. We had a steam bath. We had a huge house. The mother had an Audi A7, which is a beautiful, gorgeous car, and I got to drive it. You know, I didn't have to pay for gas. Like they took care of everything, and I'm so thankful for them. I mean, I spent like $500-600 a week for grocery.
Okay.
You know, like
okay.
it was.
Oh my God.
I had everything. Like, you know, somehow I got placed in this family that had everything. You know what maybe someone thinks is everything, and I found myself there, and the father was taking prescriptions, medicine for depression. And I was like, so they have everything, and he's still depressed. Like I started to question what I thought. If you have everything, if you have money, if you have wealth, if you have career, if you have children, you know, you're happy. But then I saw myself in this situation, and you know, they were they were married, but they were starting to, you know, like move, like separate and divorce. So I was confused because I thought this is it, and then I saw someone else have it, and I was like, it's not it. What is it then? And at just around that time when these thoughts came, I happened to go to a bar with my friend whose friend is the DJ. So it's the DJ, his friend, and with her I went to a bar, and I had crazy pain in my shoulder for a long time. I was not able to do this. Like I was not able to do, like it was hurting so much that I was just in pain always. But I mean, at that time I was not thinking about it, so I was just like, okay, whatever. So basically we ended up in going to the bar, and then somebody looked at me, and I looked at him. Why are you looking at me? And he said, do you have some pain in your shoulder? And I said, how do you know? And he was like, well, I can see it, because at that time my shoulder was, like it was heavy, and it was like my body was not proportionally aligned. It was not aligned at all. It was like, one side was more trained, overtrained.
Oh.
I'd never stretched, I never took care of these things. So I just went to the gym. I took I warmed up with a little bit of weight, but I never like run, like it was nonsense, just for looks. I just wanted to look good. So he ended up saying, I can see that you have pain. And I was like, so what should I do? He said, well, if you want me to, I can fix it right now, but it will come back, like I can do some therapy. I can help you to not feel pain now, but if you don't do something, you will feel pain again, So I was like, okay, fix it now, and he was like, really? I said, yes. So he took my shoulder. He was like, bah, 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 I was like, ah.
I thought that was only in the movies. So he did that.
No, he did that in the bar, And I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? And I felt better. And he said, please, don't stop here. Please visit my friend. He has a home office, you can go to his place and he will help you. He will, give you some techniques, give you some practices, give you, some tools. Just visit him, if you really want to feel better. Somehow I was like, okay, give me his number. He gave me his number. I texted this guy, and I said, you help me with my shoulder, So I ended up visiting him, and he's a very dear friend of mine today. We're still in touch, and he actually, I came into his house, which was not his house. Somebody gifted it to him because he healed that person, he helped that person with whatever they had. So I came into his house, and I was like, who's this guy? He had like a beard and long hair, and I was like, who's this guy? So I went into his house, and the house was empty. There was almost nothing there. A little bit, like there were like few items in like almost no food, no nothing, no bed, no, like very little. Like I was like, what is this? The only thing that was there was like a wooden plate, like a wooden square with a symbol on it. And now I know it is a yantra,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he had the wooden, like a yantra on a wooden plate, and he was sitting on it. That was like his meditation place, sitting on a yantra. And he had, so it was, at that time I did not know what this is, So for those who don't know, yantra, it's like, Sadhguru says, it's like a machine, It's like, you can use it for certain things. It's based on geometry. It's based on geometry and certain shapes and what certain shapes do. So a triangle, let's say, symbolizes, so there's upward triangle, downward triangle, masculine, feminine, water, fire, like all it's a whole science behind it. So if you're interested, you should definitely look it up. There are videos by Sadhguru on YouTube for sure. He will explain this much better than I can. Anyway, you know, we started to talk, and I thought, I'm going there. He will fix my shoulder, and I will leave. But we started to talk about like my life and how things are and everything. And he didn't even touch my shoulder. We were just talking and talking and talking. I ended up going to him for 3 days, and we were just talking and talking and talking. And at some point, he was like, you know, maybe you should try yoga instead of going to the gym every day. And I was like, yoga? What do you mean? Why would I need yoga? I'm the last person who needs yoga. I'm like, you know, I'm fine. And he said, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And that's where our paths kind of, you know. And one day I was with my friend, the DJ, and I told him, do you know what, this guy that I met, he told me to do yoga. Why would I do yoga? And my friend, who was the DJ, he was like, do you know what? I do yoga.
Oh.
And I was like, what? The person who I'm kind of looking up to, you know, the DJ, who is a really, really awesome, caring person, you know, really loving person. You are doing yoga? Okay. Maybe I should try. So I ended up, he had like, and I don't recommend this to anybody. I don't recommend this. He had like an online account, you know. So he gave me his online account. He was like, try, you know. So I went on this online account, and I was like, what is this, you know? Looks, it's not like crazy postures. It's not like headstand and crazy things that people do, you know. It was like basic. But I looked at it and I was like, I don't know if I should. So it took me a little while, but at some point I was like, whatever, you know, it's nothing is working. I should, you know, just try. And I'm not kidding you. On that day I did it. It was like it was called like a pre-yoga, like a pre-work out yoga. And I was like, after 20 minutes, usually after the gym, I felt tired and I felt like, you know. But after this 20-minute yoga session, I felt like I did some workout, but at the same time, I feel relaxed. You know, I feel like I did something good for my body, but I also feel relaxed. I don't feel tense. I don't feel tired. And I was like, this is crazy. You know, I need to do this every day. And I did it. I just did it. Like, I just did like 20, 30 minutes every day yoga, just like a small session. And I stopped going to the gym. I started to do body workout, just my own body, and yoga. And somehow my shoulder pain went away. I was definitely into yoga because of pain and because of the body, you know, not like anything spiritual. No, I had no idea about no spiritual. I did not like. So one experience with the first time I actually witnessed what it means, what presence and what energy means. We came back, so we were going out to the bar frequently. We came back from the bar and we were sitting in the car in front of the house that I was living in. And my friend, so it's always me, the DJ, and my friend. You know, and she actually, whenever I head off from being an au pair, when I got some free time at the weekends, she took care of the child, you know. So we were sitting in the car in front of the house coming back from the bar, and you know, in that moment I was sitting in the car and I looked at the house and I told her, I don't want to go in this house. I feel like something off in there, you know. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, I don't know. I just don't feel like leaving the car and going into the house. And she said, okay, interesting. And I said, okay. So she said, we have to go. You need to sleep.
Okay.
So, I was like, do you feel like that? And she said, yes, I will tell you. So the next day, we went inside. What to do? Where to sleep?
Okay.
Well, I went inside, and she. The next day, we ended up speaking, and she said, I said, why did I feel like that? And she said, well, do you know the history of this house that you're living in? And I said, no. What do you mean? And she said, well, this house was there before civil war. So, and I said, what does that mean? I don't know anything about the history of the US, And she said, well, there was a doctor living in there, and when the war was happening, there were a lot of people injured, a lot of people who were, in a bad condition. So naturally, he would have a lot of dead people in the house, laying there until he had time to bury them. He wasn't able to do, like, to heal people, to help people, and to bury them. So there were a lot of people laying there on the last floor. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? She said, well, do you think that the energy is all gone? Do you think that the house does not still have some of that energy in it? And I was like, what do you mean? What kind of energy? What is this energy? And she said, well, you can also call it memory, a certain kind of memory, a certain kind of imprint that is in the house. Because the house is made of wood, and wood is some of those dead bodies are maybe still, like, we don't know. So I was like, okay, whatever. And she said, do you know what else was there even before that? I said, no. So if you go into the house, there are bells hanging, which means, if you look into the history of the house, there were actually slaves living in the house, and the bells were ringing for the slaves to get up and for them to work. So she was like explaining me, the reason why you feel off and you feel like not going into the house is because the house has a certain energy to it. It has the memory of slaves living there, pain, of fear, anxiety, of, all these things. And I was like, this is the first time when I was actually sensitive enough to feel coming into a room, coming into a house, and feeling like something is off. And I'm sure you have experienced this, because I have experienced this many times. You come into a room and you just feel a certain, you're like, okay, something is off, or wow, everybody's joyful here, or like, if you go to the Isha Yoga Center in India, you're like, wow, what is this?
Yeah.
Even me arriving at the Isha Yoga Center, like, I did not had any idea about, like, Ashram Yoga Center, nothing. We were traveling to the yoga center. I was like, wow, it looks nice, it's kind of rural area, and people are sitting outside on the street, similar to Colombia. I visited Colombia, and people are sitting, like Gangesh was telling, it's very similar. People sitting on the streets talking and having fun. And, we were driving, and then we arrived, and, I came in, I was like, wow, everything is made from natural like, everything is natural stones, and like, almost no glass, or modern. When you look at the architecture, what they do now it's like, it was so different to me. And well, now when you look at it now, when I go somewhere, I feel that energy. But that was the first time when I actually experienced, presence, energy, and that. And somehow that moment, that experience kind of, opened me up a little bit, that there is something more, there is something that I cannot explain in words, but it is there. I can feel it. And I ended up starting the yoga, and I told my friend, hey, I started to do yoga like you said. And he said, oh, really? Is it? Maybe you should try meditation.
Oh.
And I said, meditation? Okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. I already asked a lot of questions about yoga, and now I see that it's good. Whatever. And do you know what was the first meditation that I did?
I don't know. What was it?
It was sitting down for 5 minutes listening to Karpura Gauram.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my friend, he introduced me to Sadhguru. I mean, at that time I was like, people with turbans, beards. I was like, no, definitely I'm not listening to this guy, you know. But he sent me a video with a scientist. It was like I don't know his name, David something. They just recently did another video, but they talked about Albert Einstein, the relativity theory, and empty space, and like a lot of things which are scientifically proven. And Sadhguru was telling, Gautama the Buddha, 1,500 or whatnot years ago, he just sat in meditation and he discovered that, there are blood cells and there are atoms in the body, and there was not even a microscope and there was not even a name for atoms, but he just discovered. And I was like, what? What? And that, that was the first time when I was like, what else is there to life? I always thought what I'm doing right now is good, but it seems like there's something much greater than what I thought it is, and so I sat down for 5 minutes, and it was like, oh, I was not like, I was sitting, my legs were up, I was not comfortable at all. I was like, oh, what is this? I'm not doing anything. Nothing is happening. And I did not had any meditative experience. Nothing. I was not really consistent with it. So it kind of, I kind of stopped doing the meditation. I was like, I don't really know what this is. I'm just, going to do a little bit of yoga and whatnot. But I started to listen to Sadhguru. I was watching video, and I was like, wow, this is just like so clear. There's not a moment when he is like thinking or it was just like coming through him. Something was coming through him, and I was listening to him, and everything made sense. And he talked about certain things that I had experienced, or he described certain things, and I was like, this just all makes sense. So I was listening, and then I saw at some point I saw the inner engineering online, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I should do it. So I ended up doing it just to try what it is. And actually at that time I was not really, feeling like, oh wow, something happened, or something changed. But as I said, I used to be the person who was throwing trash out of the car, and now I did the inner engineering, and suddenly I find myself asking myself, holding trash in my hand, should I really throw this out of the car? Who is going to pick it up? Like, me throwing it out of the car means I'm not responsible for this, I don't really care. Somebody else will take care of this. And this is how I conducted my life, Somebody else will clean up for me, my mom. Somebody else will do laundry for me. Somebody else will buy food. Somebody else will everything. Somebody else. And I just do what I like. So the inner engineering now, when I look at it, changed many things. But back then I was like, no, this is me, Yeah. I'm the one who's doing this, So like this, I started to go for barefoot walks in nature. I started to walk so I had 2 dogs, and I started to walk the dogs in the neighborhood on grass barefoot. And, also my friend who introduced me to Sadhguru, he was always like, let's go for a hike barefoot. And, he was like, he was already into this. So okay. He kind of introduced me into the benefits of barefoot walking, going into nature. And I started to really enjoy it, So somehow somehow this experience, this program did a little bit, did some changes. And I was like, at some point just before I was leaving, I thought, I should do the program. I should do the program. Like, what else is there for me to do right now? I still don't know what I should do. I still don't know what I should do with my life. So why don't I do this? So I ended up so I have a family member who lives in Toronto. So 2016 in October, I ended up going to Toronto, or November, I think it was actually. I ended up going to the mega program in Toronto. Oof, wow. That was something else. Like at that time I had no idea about spirituality. I had no idea about nothing. I was sitting there. I came into the space, and everybody, like all the volunteers, were like, and I was like, what, I was just like, these people, why are they so joyful? Why are they so happy? But I didn't get it. I was like, maybe they are just like that. And then I came into the program. I sat there. Sadhguru came, and at that time I was not really sensible or sensitive to energy. I was like, I had that experience with the energy, but I was not like, oh, blown away. I was like, whatever he is saying makes a lot of sense, and that's it. I don't really need, but then I learned the Kriya in engineering that you learn when you do the completion program or the full 4-day program. And, I was doing the practice, and mega program means a lot of people. And at that time, I had no idea about this. In India, this might be different, but I was sitting there, and some people had some crazy experience, and I was sitting there, was like, why is nothing happening to me? Why, like, am I doing something wrong? Maybe I'm not, getting it. So after those 4 days, I did it maybe for 2 days, and I was like, I was like, wait, to do this and that. I'm not, I don't really need this. That's fine, So I did not finish my mandala. I was like, And the thing was, after I went to Toronto, I actually did a month of traveling in the US. So I was doing couch surfing, which is like sleeping at different people's homes on their couch. And I was like, I'm not going to do this practice in somebody else's house, And I was just, I could have done it outside. I was traveling in LA, San Francisco, Louisiana. Like there were places where it's warm outside. You can do it outside if you want to. But I was just like, whatever, And like this, I traveled, and actually, to be honest, now I don't know if this is due to me being in the engineering program and Sadhguru's grace, but this month after visiting the Toronto, like after doing in engineering, was like, wow, so smooth, Everybody was so nice to me. All the people around me were nice. Everybody was treating me so nice, and I was just like, wow. Is this because I don't know if this is Sadhguru's grace, his energy that was still with me, and I ended up going back home and traveling to Colombia and not really thinking about in engineering. And then I came back after I was done with all the travels. I came back home and I was like, so what now? What I don't know what to do. And I ended up. So another thing. Before leaving the US, actually, I did Surya Kriya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oof, that was something else. I was visiting. So I visited San Diego. When I was in San Diego at the end of November. So just before I left, I was like, there is a program in the city where I'm right now. In like tomorrow, I should do it. So I went for Surya Kriya, and I went through the program, and there was a teacher sitting in the front, and I was like, oh my God, what? Like this teacher, like she was sitting there cross-legged in white, and I was like, wow, she just looked so intense with her eyes closed. And I was like, who's this person who's like, she didn't even feel like human for me, you know? Like she was sitting there almost like she's not there, you know? Like she's gone. And I went into the class and we started to do Surya Kriya, and I was like, what yoga have I done till now? This is like so much, so many details, so many things are being taken care of. Wow, you know? But I was traveling, so then again I was like, you know, I don't really need this. If I feel like doing it, I will do it, you know? So like all this traveling, like December, January, February, March, I come back home and I'm like, maybe I should do Surya Kriya now, you know? And I was like, how to do it? I don't really know. Never did my mandala.
Okay.
And I was like reaching out to the school and, you know, trying to pick it up again. And boom, in engineering in Hamburg comes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you know, I was on my phone scrolling through Facebook and I see in engineering in Facebook. I see in engineering in Germany. I'm like, what? In engineering in Germany? And I see, you know, you can volunteer. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should volunteer. I don't know. There's any way I don't know what to do. I'm going to volunteer. That experience of volunteering changed my life. Like that was the moment when I went to 4-day volunteering. First of all, I was hosted by a couple, so they treated me like, you know, like a hotel, taking care of everything, food and this and that and staying and sleeping and driving, and like they took care of me like I'm some, you know, special person, but they were just doing it because, you know, being a volunteer, that's what being a volunteer means. You're not getting anything out of it, you're just doing it, you know, whatever needs to be done. And it was such a beautiful experience for me that that moment and the program, you know, like I volunteered for the program and I saw people first day, fourth day, and I was like, wow, what am I doing here? Why am I not doing this practice? These people have changed in 4 days and I have not in 4 or 5 months, you know? What am I doing here? And from the day that the first day of the inner engineering program, I started my mandala, I finished my mandala, and I met some people who went to the ashram, and I talked to them because I was like, this is like the best thing that happened to me in my life, this volunteering, you know. I want to do more of this. How can I do more? There's not much happening in Germany. So they said, maybe you should go to India, to the ashram. And I was like, yes, I'm going to the ashram. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm just going to the ashram. So I went on YouTube and I Googled, looked up and everything. I was like, okay, maybe I'm going for 1 month, you know, 2-3 weeks, you know, vacation. And then I talked to a Hatha Yoga teacher that I did my Buddha Shuddhi with in Frankfurt. And I was like, what do you think? How long should I go? 1 month? 2 months? She said, why don't you go for Sadhanapada? And I said, Sadhanapada? What is this? She said, just watch it on YouTube. So I went on YouTube and I looked it up and it said 7 months. And I was like, well, you know, I can just go, and if I don't feel like I can leave, you know. But I mean, again, I don't recommend anybody going like this. If you go, you should go 100%, you know. But I went to so I started my journey from Frankfurt, took the airplane to India, which was like I 5 a.m. I left maybe, and then I arrived at 5 p.m. or something, you know, like whole day 5, yeah. And I arrived at the ashram and I came into the ashram and I was like, okay, I've never been to this country, I've never been to this place, I don't know anything, these people, okay, but you know, I'm just going to register it, and this place looks huge. you know. And they give me this map, and I look at the map and I'm like, okay, Bhiksha hall is food. So where is this Bhiksha hall?
Okay.
And then somebody is like, you just go there, and then you go there. I'm like, I don't know, this map is too big. I don't know where to go. And then it's so funny because now when I look at it, I'm like, the ashram is so small, you know, you
Yeah.
know exactly, this is this, you know, everything. But then I was like, wow, this place is huge, you know. So I and I had to do my, I mean, yeah, I wanted to do my Shambhavi, my practice, right? So I ended up registering and everything, and then I went to do that, and then I went to have dinner. It was my first day of having food, and I went into the Bhiksha hall, and I saw the like aisles on one side, and then I saw aisles on the other side, you know, and I saw some people having like lots of fruits, kanji diet, you know.
Yeah.
And I was into, you know, I was like, I love fruits. I can go there.
Oh.
So first day, first dinner, I had kanji,
Oh, is it okay?
mango. Oh my God, that was so good, so good. I just came in mango season. It was so good. Absolutely the best mangoes I had in my life were for sure at the ashram. So you know, I that's kind of how it started. 2 3 days, like just one day, 2 days after that, it was Guru Purnima and Lab of the Masters, and I was sitting there. I had no like meditation and everything was still like far away. You know, I was sitting there like moving all the time and thinking, oh my God, what am I doing here? You know, not in the sense like I don't feel like being here, but I feel like I'm not ready. You know, like I'm not able to sit. I don't know. But I thought, whatever, I'm here. You know, I'm just Germany is far away. I'm just here now. So I ended up just, you know, doing my practices a little bit, like not Surya Kriya and in engineering, and that was it. You know, I was like, until like 10 a.m. is the first meal. If you start your practices at 5:40, you're like, so what now? You know, I don't really know what to do
Yeah.
with my time. Yeah, and you just, you know, walk around, you look around, you're like, okay. So that's kind of how how things started for me. And then we had Sadhanapada meeting, and they told us this is this is what you're going to volunteer for. And I was like, okay, translation is not really my favorite thing to do, but you know, what to do, it's okay. And the interesting thing is people always think, oh, the ashram, you go there, it's so nice and calm, and
Yeah.
everybody, it's only good people,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's joy, like loving vibes, love everywhere, only positive. And then you end up sitting next to a person that is like the worst, you know, you're like, oh my God, this person, why? This person,
You
you
have not
know.
done inner engineering, it seems. Like that it will be.
So Sadhguru talks about this all the time, you know, like the ashram is not a place to, you know, make a vacation, just hang
Yeah.
out and have some fun. It's actually the opposite. You get like ah, just in the first 2 3 weeks, I was going ups, downs, you know, like it was, I would say the first 3 months was just constantly pushing me. And I was, but somehow I was struggling to wake up so much in the beginning. You know, I was like, oh my God, 5:30, like actually you have to be there at 5:30. So it was insane. I used to wake up at like 9, 10 a.m. You know, I was like, 5 a.m. Why should I wake up at 5 a.m.? But so they came with the drum, and I was like, okay. So I got up, and to be honest, somehow what Sadhanapada did to me is after maybe I would say basically after I did the Shakti Chalana Kriya Shoonya program, after that program, I got up at 3 every day. You know, I was like charged, you know, because when I did Shoonya program, it was the moment when I was like, wow, what is this practice? Wow, this is like so many deep, like it's just so deeply rooted in the science of yoga. Before that, I was like, okay, a little bit of Om chanting and this and that and breathing and sitting, meditating. I was like, everybody can teach this. But when I did the Shoonya program, I was like blown away by this practice, just blown away. And from that day onwards, October, I think. So I arrived at July, and in October I did, I think, October, September, October, I did the Shunya. From till then, I was still having doubts. You know, I was still like, maybe when I go back, I will do some martial art. Maybe I will do some qigong. Maybe I will do some tai chi. Maybe I will do some, you know, maybe I will travel and visit some Buddhist monastery. Maybe, you know, I had so many ideas what I want to do. And till then, I was still like ups and downs, ups and downs. But when I did Shunya, I was like, okay, this is it. I don't need anything else. This is like the experience of doing Shunya, and especially Shakti Chalana Kriya was like, when I did my first full cycle of Shakti Chalana Kriya and in engineering practice Shambhavi after that, I was like, wow. First time when I was like, oh my God, what Sadhguru says about being high without taking drugs is true. It's true, you know? And just a little bit after that, it was the first time when I sat down in Dhyana Linga, and 45 minutes later, I was like, I opened my eyes and I was like, wow, this is my first meditative experience of sitting down and then opening my eyes and like, wow, you know. So it took me like 3-4 months at the ashram, you know, like, so people outside who are watching this and you're struggling with practices and everything, you're fine. 4 months at the ashram until you have your first meditative experience. Before that, I was just sitting there thinking, oh my God, this water drop is falling down. Like,
Yes.
how many times, how long, like, when is the bell finally going to ring? And then, I mean, Linga Bhairavi, I was like, what is this, like, big red,
Red globe.
yeah, what is this? I mean, with Linga Bhairavi, I have to say, even the first time when I stepped in, I felt, you know, I really, Sadhguru says this all the time, you know, this is with her, she is in your face, you know, she's like, boom. And I did feel it, but I was not like, okay, I like to be here, you know, I was not like the temple person going, because I had, you know, my past was like, I don't want to go to church, so I was like, temple is religion, you know, until at some point I was like, I was just drawn, you know, I was just drawn to go there. So it took me like 3-4 months until I had my first meditative experience, I would say, like really sit down and that happened to me. And from that point onward, like when I had that experience, but also doing the Shakti Chalana, the Shunya program, then I was like, if this can happen to me, someone who is like, you know, I was not able to sit comfortably on the floor. I was like in pain, sitting for 5 minutes. I was not really like enjoying the practices or like, you know, doing it with a lot of passion or like, wow, devotion, anything. I had no devotion. I had no idea, nothing. Even for somebody like me, it works. This means it works for everybody, you know? If it works, like before that, Sadhguru was saying, if it works for me, it works for everybody. I was like, okay, if you do this, you will feel high. Okay, you know, how is this going to? But then when I experienced it, I was like, wow, this is actually true. You know, this is actually true. And that was when I started to, you know, okay, Sadhguru says you should be up at 3. 3:30 you should do your practices, you know, I should do this, you know, I should make the most use of my time here because I won't be here forever, you know. So that's how I approach Sadhanapada then, that I'm here not forever, just now, just today, make the most out of it. And I really threw myself into the practices. Seva and volunteering was happening, not really. Like, that was one thing that I was struggling with. So practices, waking up, food, everything was good. But for me, volunteering was kind of, you know, sitting in front of a screen and translation and everything was like, not really. But, you know, somehow the people, so yeah, it's the Isha Yoga Center, the way that things work are just so fantastic, so fantastic. So I had the coordinator who was my coordinator, Ma. She was such a beautiful, caring person. She was like a mother, you know, like the way that she treated me, even though I was, you know, maybe having 3-4 prasadams after food, you know.
Okay.
Actually, for 7 months, I had no outside food, you know,
Okay.
no, like I was not craving anything. I was like, this food is the best food I had in my life. The food at the ashram is like so delicious and so, like you have so many different tastes and everything is just so fantastic. It's the best food. Since then, I don't even want to eat anything else than, you know, the Indian cuisine because it's just so flavorful and just the best. So basically, I ended up in the Surya Kund, which is below the Surya Kund is an office. Surya Kund office as a translating for German team, and I was doing. It's funny. I was doing YouTube. I was doing Facebook. You know,
Okay.
but at that time I was like, what is this? You know, just sitting here answering comments and this and that. I was like, But now I'm like, interesting. Now that I'm doing the same thing by myself.
Yeah.
You know, like these things, these like synchronicities everywhere. So basically, that was the Sadhanapada journey of me going there, and I felt like welcomed by everybody. You know, everybody was really taking care of everything was being taken. But then I had to wash my clothes with my hands. I was like, wow. Wow, that was the first time in my life when I had to actually take care of my space, my room, you know, where I stay. I had to clean it. I had to clean my own clothing. I had to take care of washing while doing the practice, while volunteering, while, you know, everything. I was like, wow, this is like transformation, you know, this is transformation, just taking care of these things by yourself. And just that, not even thinking about practices, not even thinking about yoga, not even thinking about meditation, just being in the space and starting to be responsible for yourself and the people around you as well, like cleaning the space. So in Sadhanapada, they like it's such a great support. It's such a great support. The difference between general volunteering and Sadhanapada is just this. You have a coordinator, you have someone who is there for you whenever you feel like, whenever you need to, you can talk to them, you know, and they're going to support you. So you have a person that you know you can always talk to. When you join general volunteering, you're coming in, nobody really knows that you're there. If you want to, you can talk to some people, but they will not really know you, and it will, you know, not be the same. But if you like, when you do Sadhanapada, it's like set up, you know, you have a certain person that you can talk to. Support is there. You have sessions together. You have guided sessions together, guided yoga together. You have you do trips together. You spend time together. You have darshans with Sadhguru. Um, it's the program was, even though I was the first batch and I was not organized the best way possible. Like now they're, you know, on a different level. But still, at that time, for the first time that they did a wonderful job. You know, everything was being taken care of, and we had opportunities to volunteer for programs as well. So for those people who are foodies, definitely DNA program for success. DNA program, best program for food.
Okay.
Like, wow, I had the best masala dosa at that program. I had fruit plates with jackfruit. I had like mango, jackfruit, pineapple, papaya, everything, like a whole fruit plate. We had I don't even know what these dishes are all called, but we had like a dough which was like a circle, like a pizza. It tastes like a pizza dough. It was, I don't know what, but we had like tons of prasadam, sweets, like DNA was the best programs in terms
My
of
mouth
food.
is watering.
It's like idli, we had chapat, everything that you can think, like whatever you miss, you can have it there. So that was there. And I did the Linga Bhairavi Yantra ceremony volunteering. That was, I mean, just to see the amount of emotions and devotion from people who were coming to get the yantra was too intense, too intense. That's a wonderful program to volunteer for as well, for sure. And BSP volunteering, oh wow, that was, so when I did my BSP, I was like, what, even though I did it I did it after I did my Shoonya program. After I was like convinced, okay, this is, what I want to do. When I did my BSP program, I was like, huh, what is this? What is this? I don't think I'm getting it,
Yeah.
But when I did my volunteering, I was like blown away, blown away. I was, the amount of energy that I had while the program was insane, insane. Like, there were moments where I was like, I'm not feeling my body, I'm just like, my body's just working, everything that needs to be done needs to be done. And somehow I was getting up, doing my practices, somehow I was, volunteering, throwing myself into everything. Was happening so beautiful. So this is one of the beautiful things when you do Sadhanapada, that you have like a thing that you kind of generally do volunteer for. You have like a designated space. Most people, there's some people who still, like those people who are maybe doing temple, they're maybe changing the temple, or some people, there were a few people who were still kind of doing like general volunteering, but I'm not sure if they're still doing it like this. Most of us, 90% I would say, had like a certain thing that they were doing throughout the whole experience. So you had coordinator, you had a person that you could talk to, you kind of, had people that you knew. It was nice. It was the way that Sadhanapada is structured is just amazing. So anybody who is thinking, who has or who wants to spend the time, they should definitely do it. Especially if you don't know what you want to do in your life, this is like the first and foremost thing that you need to do, is to spend time somewhere where whatever you call mine, whatever you call home, whatever you call family, friends, everything is, for some time left. And just because you get that space, you get that space between what you refer to as myself, what you think you are, and what you really are. And what you really are, you will, I am convinced, because I don't want to say I experienced what I really am, but I'm definitely spending time at the ashram and doing Sadhanapada enhanced me in so many ways. Now when I look at other people, I don't not in a comparing myself, not saying I'm better than them, but the amount of vibrancy that I feel in my body. I came back from the ashram and went again to volunteer for in engineering in Hamburg. And there was this one volunteer, and he was like, "Do you know that when I stand next to you, I feel like sitting in Dhyana Linga?"
Oh.
I was like, "Wow, this is the best compliment I received in my life." you know, that I carried the energy of the Dhyana Linga with me. Like it was a very short span between me coming and me volunteering. So I was like, wow, I'm carrying the energy of a linga with me, and somebody else is noticing it, who is, you know, doing the program and the practices and everything. So maybe not everybody will notice it, and maybe not everybody wants to notice it. Definitely, I had some people who are like, you know, some friends who wanted me to be the old person, but it's fine, you know. It's not like when I came back, I was like in my room doing my practices, airplanes flying, cars running, trains going by. I was like, what? So many sounds, noises, so many things were happening. I was confused, you know. It took me some time to really get back into life. And to be honest, for the first, I would say more like half a year, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I should just go back full time. Maybe who knows, but just go back, you know. I was like, I can't connect to anybody. I don't know what I'm doing here outside. Maybe I should just go back. And after that, I again was feeling confused about at the ashram. I was like thinking about doing the Isha Yoga teacher training, or you know. But when I came here, I was like, do I really want to go outside and teach? Do I, you know, or should I really go there and live there? And basically, I came back. I didn't have anybody. I had one friend. Actually, I had a few friends. Not like I don't have had friends, no. But I had one specific friends that I really like to spend time with, because he also listened to Sadhguru, and he also was meditating. He was working upon himself. You know, he was, you know, going inward and not just living for the material things in life. You know, not just success, family, money. Like, you know, a little bit more than that. So he was like the main person that I was actually hanging out with. And but then I was, you know, I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do now. I don't know if I should go back to India yet, so I should visit my friend in the States. So I went to visit my friend who introduced me to Sadhguru and traveled there. And after that, I like very, very spontaneously went to visit my friend in Mexico.
Okay.
Just like a random, you know, just because I met my friend in the US. Uh, she's from Mexico, and she was also an au pair. The same program that I did in the US, she did also, and we met, and then we hang out and all. So anyway, I visited Mexico, and you know what happened in Mexico? Everybody that I met there, and I was doing my practices and everything, you know, and I was wearing, you know,
Dhoti.
Indian clothing. I was,
Yeah.
you know, and people knew I was doing yoga, you know. But everybody was so interested in knowing more about yoga. Everybody that I met in Mexico was like, tell me more. And I was telling about the ashram. I was showing them pictures, and they were looking at the Dhyana Linga, and they were like, wow, just like the amount of time and effort that is put into this temple is crazy. How did they build this? Like, like almost like the pyramids from the top to the bottom. How did they build this? You know. And then when they looked at the Linga Bhairavi, at the Surya Kund, they were like, wow, what are these massive stones? How did they make this, you know? And it was the first time when I actually met people who were like honestly wanted to know what this is, and wanted to know what am I doing and what yoga is. And somehow that experience in Mexico, I connected to a lot of people, and that was like the spark, you know, like that got me inspired. I was like, I went to one yoga class in Mexico. Oh, uh, please don't go to I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it's not like Isha yoga is the only yoga. You know, there are definitely places in India. Even Sadhguru says this, that teach classic like proper yoga. But when I went to that yoga class, it was like, you know, you do your practices with open eyes, and you look what the teacher does, and you do it. So naturally you're not really doing the asana because you're looking up, you're turning your head, you're twisting your head, and you're doing something, it's not really proper. An asana means your body is in a certain way for a certain period of time, and not looking up what somebody is doing while doing it. That's a different asana, and you don't know what that's doing to you. It can harm you. So it's, I don't know. I mean, don't want to do any like marketing, but like after doing classical Isha Hatha Yoga and going to this yoga class, I was like, wow, no, definitely, this is like a workout. This is like, this is more like having fun. This is not yoga. And that was when I felt this classical Hatha Yoga really needs to go into the world. This people don't have not experienced what yoga is. Not saying classical Hatha Yoga is yoga. There is much more to yoga than physical postures. But again, even the first Surya Kriya that I did, I was blown away by how this program was conducted. And I feel that this has to go into the world. And that is what leads me being inspired to go for the training. So we'll see. Right now, the situation, we don't really know what's happening, but basically that's kind of where my journey is going.
Oh, so you're planning for the Hatha Yoga teacher training after that?
I'm accepted, actually. I'm accepted.
Congrats.
But we don't know. It's like 1st of September it's starting. So 16th of August, I think you have to be there for 2 weeks quarantine.
Okay.
And don't know if India is opening. We don't know. Could be tomorrow.
Flights are not there? Flights are there, right?
Visa.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Tomorrow it could be open. It's like crazy situation right now. So it's fine. I don't really think about it too much. But yeah, Sadhanapada, 7 months, and I stayed for 2 more months because it was just so beautiful, so beautiful. After Samyama, I just didn't want to leave. I was just like, and even at the end of the 9 months, in my last months, I actually wrote a letter to Sadhguru, and I asked, what to do before leaving.
Can we write a letter to Sadhguru? Many people ask me. I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know how to write a letter to Sadhguru. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that?
I did. Now you get to know.
Yes, everyone. The most important part of the podcast. How to write a letter to Sadhguru.
Only listen to this part. So basically, what you do is you write a letter, and then you go to the office, which is the Linga Bhairavi office. It's like it's not the small office where you kind of buy the prasad, next to the prasadam, but it's the one
the downward step that we
below
walk
the sadhana hall. Below the sadhana hall, there is an office, and when you go in there, on the right side there is like a small case, and you put your letter in there. And then I don't know how regularly they open it, but it was like, for me, it happened in a few days, like a few days only. Some people don't get an answer at all. Some people get an answer. Some people wait. Some people, they get like few people get an answer, like Sadhguru answer. Most people get a text or an email from the office, But I sent my picture, and I asked, what to do. And
am I supposed to ask? Can I ask you like what you wrote, or like it's yours? Like, can I ask?
I just, I seeked his guidance. I just wanted his guidance on what to do, and he basically put me on silence. So I was in silence from 4 p.m. until 10 a.m. every day for about a month. So I was going to Seva, not really, almost. So it's 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, And basically was going to Seva. I was allowed to talk, but very minimal conversation happening. And then after Seva until the next morning after brunch, I was in silence. And that was intense because I didn't need to go to Seva in the evening. So I was spending hours at the temple, like sitting for an hour at the Dhyanalinga, going to Devi, or like, and this was such a beautiful experience. I mean, I'm so grateful for this opportunity that Sadhguru gave me. And yeah, I mean, you can always write a letter and reach out. Even you can write a email through Sadhguru to Sadhguru's office, right? Depending upon what you write, of course, like if you make a long letter, they will they will not forward it. If you make a letter asking, I don't know, how can I attain mukti, or how to get like these things, no. But you can ask certain things. Some people like Gangesh, they changed their names. If you feel like you really want to change your name, you can send a letter and ask. Like there are certain things that you can write, definitely. You just, like, few things to do is make it short, come to the point quickly, send a picture if you want to. Like, I mean, maybe he probably knows, but just to kind of see where you are right now, I think a picture wouldn't be a bad idea. And yeah, if you don't expect anything, don't expect to get an answer. If you don't get an answer, fine. If you get an answer, awesome. It's whatever, but if you approach it from like, oh, I really need to know, I really need this answer, I don't think this is the way to approach it. I don't feel that this is the way that things work. If you really want to have or like need something, that means that you're putting it above. You are here, and this is here, so you're not going to attract it. You're not going to have that. It's like putting something on a pedestal. I don't know, I don't really feel, but anybody who feels like asking something specific, definitely you can go for it. So yeah, best part of the podcast.
Yes, awesome.
So wait, I just want to check. Some people were asking me questions. But yeah, I think we covered.
There was one question. One lady had asked you one question, right? I had noted it down. I don't have it with me right now. Do you have that question with you? Something she wanted to.
So while some people saw me in the Isha shop.
Yes, please. Yes. I also saw you. Not in person.
Actually, do you know what? The first podcast that I saw with you was with Frederick.
Is it? Yeah. Video podcast. Even I didn't know I was taking a podcast then.
That's like, yeah, it's like a podcast format, right?
I see the first two videos I had taken. One was with Atulan and then was with Frederick. So one was 40 minutes, one was 20 minutes. It was a podcast format, but at that time I didn't know such a format existed. So that's why I made it short.
Wow. That's amazing. It's like, I was thinking, was that actually your first video that I saw? I saw that video. It was when I was at the ashram, and he was there also.
You were there. You were there, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from Germany,
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he was helping a little bit, but
isn't he right now in US? Is he in Germany now or in US?
No, I don't know. He was in Brazil. I don't know.
Okay.
Like
he's all over the place.
I have to send him this.
Actually, you know what? One incident is he had sent me a request. Okay, like how to come to the ashram. So his display picture was, I thought he was some 40, 50-year-old guy. Okay, so but I replied like that. So once I was in the ashram, he's like, "Hey, Vaishak, what's up? Don't you remember me?" I'm like, "Who is this guy? I have not seen him."
Wow.
But then he's like, "I'm Frederick." I'm messaging. I'm like, "What? You're Frederick?"
That's funny. It's funny how things turn out at the ashram. Again, this is coming back to whoever feels like going to the ashram, whoever feels maybe stuck in their life, whoever feels like they don't know what to do, or even if you do your practices, but you feel like you want to push it up, you want to, you want to take it up, which does not mean you have to live there, but spending a sufficient amount of time. This is what Sadhanapada gave me, is like this foundation, like being outside and doing your mandala of Shakti Chalana Kriya will be a great, like, you will have to take care of many, many things. If you are at the ashram and you do it, it will be like much more smoother, certain things are being taken care of, and like these are just, it's a space where everything is going towards one direction. So anybody that can take the time off, I would definitely recommend it. But
we deviated off the topic.
7 months in the ashram, you're committed to stay there, and the only time when I left the ashram was for the shooting. So
yes, come back to that.
So the shop, yeah, it was funny. It was, so all my life, I've like, as a child, if you look at my picture, drumming and sitting in a car or standing in front of an expensive car, I was wearing like, kind of clothing that kids usually don't wear, like tied up, like, everything proper, everything clean, and, like nice shirt, and I was like, I love to do that, I love to dress up. And even in my life later, I used to be addictive to shopping, like shopping, buying clothes, to always have the new clothing. I have like 30 pairs of sneakers. I sold lots of them, but I still have some left, So that was like my main source of happiness were shopping and music, those two. And anytime when I did not have that, I was like, it even went, like, I was so frustrated and angry that it even went into bullying, like badly behaving towards others. So this shopping kind of led me to, I want to be a model. I want to, have some shootings and blah, 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 blah. And this never happened. Never. So I was like, okay, what? At some point I was just like, okay, fine, it's not going to happen, whatever. And then come to the ashram and everything, blah, 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 blah. 7 months not cutting my hair, not taking care of anything, nothing, like how I look, I don't care, nothing, I mean, a little bit, yes, but not like before. I was like crazy about everything. This is one of the beautiful changes also, because of India and Sadhanapada staying at the ashram, is like not being too caught up in how I look, like I can go out with kurta and dhoti and whatever, whatever. If I feel comfortable, that's all that matters. I don't need to think, oh, this person is going to think that. This, I'm nowadays when I go and shop, I'm not thinking, okay, what's the most fashionable thing to buy? I go in there and I look, is this 100% cotton? Is this, like, is this something that I want to wear? I don't know if you know this. Have you heard Sadhguru talk about that people in United States are not 100% skin anymore, because they are wearing so much plastic, so much clothing, which is unnatural, that their skin started to absorb that, and they're not 100% skin anymore. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, it's all about this jerseys and all this. Even I was into it for a long time, but
yeah, it's crazy. So like, at some point in Sadhanapada, there was this one, like there were a few of us who were working with, so in Sadhanapada, you get to volunteer. There were so many things that you could do. So there was one Akka, she was designing clothing for Isha, crafts, which is like, imagine you go to the ashram and you get to do like design clothing and sadhana, and like, what a beautiful life, or some people photography, some people do video editing, some people do music, sounds of Isha, some like, there's like so many people. But even if you do IT, even if you sit in front of a desk, if you
Translation, even if you do translation.
even if you do translation, somehow things happen, somehow with time you will be like, wow, like I'm reading YouTube. Here I am sitting thinking, what am I doing here? Reading YouTube comments, and somebody's saying, wow, thank you so much for this, like this really helped me in this situation. Or someone saying, wow, do you know what? I was just having that question, and today this video came out. Like this, many people experience. So, I was there sitting and thinking, so many people actually resonate with Sadhguru, but I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. So I somehow, this Akka, she came, she said, do you know, we are launching something for Mahashivratri. Do you want to be part of the shooting? I was like, part of the shooting? I have not cut my hair. I looked horrible, like, okay, whatever. I don't care. It's fine. It's Isha, it's fine. So we ended up going out of the ashram after, like, I think that was just before Samyama. I think it was still, 7 months. After 6-7 months, we went out of the ashram, and like we went out, and I was like, okay. Actually, I went out for Shivanga. I went out for the Bhiksha. But that was different. I went for the Bhiksha and I came back. And it was like, it was not like spending time there and eating there. So we went out and we went to this place to shoot. And it was like the first time in 7 months we had a laptop with a music box, sound box. And we were playing music other than sounds of Isha. At the ashram. Right? You listen to Sound of Isha always, which is the best music anyway. But outside we were like, oh my God, let's listen to this, to that. We had like a whole music library unfolding. Everybody was like, okay, this you need to listen to this, because we had this Akka from Mexico, from the US, and then Anna from US, me. The four of us, I think, and then we had her, like Indian, like the designer, like we had all kinds of people, all kinds of music, and it was so interesting, so fun. And but then we had food. We called the hotel because we were like, we cannot get any food without green chili and onion and garlic and everything, like we don't want, like it's about to be Samyama. We don't really want to go like, I don't know, we wanted to take care of these things. So we got like this food from the hotel, and one of us actually he was like, whatever, I'm getting pizza. Like 2 weeks before Samyama, he's like, pizza. So we ended up getting Indian food, but of course, we said without chili, but they what no chili, what is this?
It's not Indian food.
We don't have no chili. So they ended up putting chili in it, but we had to eat it, so it's okay. But what's funny, actually, when I arrived to the ashram and I went to Bhiksha Hall after my first kanji diet, in the morning I went to the regular diet and I sat down and I had food and I was like, why is this so spicy? How can I eat this? I'm not able to eat this. And then like 3, 4, 5, 6 days, I was eating the spicy food, and I was eating it, and I was like, my body was starting to feel sick. I was like, my body was not used to it, and I felt so bad. And I thought, maybe I'm not doing something good. Maybe my immunity's off. Maybe something, blah 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 blah. And then, luckily, I talked to someone who was into Ayurveda, and they said, you need to stop eating spicy food. It's too much heat, heat from the outside. So this is one thing. If you coming from the outside, you need to go to non-spicy. I did not know that there is no spicy. I thought it's only spicy. So I went and had spicy food 1 week, 2 weeks. I started to feel fever. I started to get sick. I started like diarrhea, everything, like the worst things that can happen to you, because it was way too hot, like way too much heat in my body, because outside heat, inside, like, and the practices are generating heat. My body was just like, exploding. So this is going out, having chili again, but it was not so bad. It was a fun experience. And then seeing the picture, it was like it was before, I know I would feel like, oh my god, it's me, I did it, I made, I made a picture. Now I was just like, okay, nice, I appreciate it, thank you. I'm really thankful that you chose me to be part of this, but I'm not really identified with it. I'm not really like, I have not put it, like, I have not sent it to anybody. I have not told anybody. It's not really something, like, if somebody sees it and asks, yeah, but I don't know. This is like one of the beautiful things that came with Sadhanapada is, uh, like I said, I used to be so dependent upon, like, the way I look, going to the gym and everything, and through yoga and through in engineering. But I would say even more India. Just going to India, and it's so different, so different. Like everything from the way that, like, the people dress, the way that people are. I was doing Linga Seva, and 7 days volunteering for Dhyana Linga, and wow, I was standing there in the in the dhoti and holding namaskar, and people were coming, and the amount of devotion that I saw in people's eyes coming to the temple was insane. Like me seeing these people, I was like, wow, I really need to be, and I should be so grateful and thankful that I'm here, living here. I'm allowed to stay here, and I should not be like, oh, whatever, tomorrow I'm waking up, I'm missing out on Guru Puja, and the day after that I'm not doing these practices. If these people, they come here for 1 day, and they are, like, the amount of devotion that they have, so much. Who am I? Why am I not able to throw myself in? So, like, people from India, they really inspired me to, and they were like the example for me, what devotion means, what it means to put yourself aside and just do whatever needs to be done. So I would say this is like the main quality that I got when I went to India, is like that distance from who I am, who I think I am, my body, my clothing, and everything. And the other thing I would say is the road. Germany and the things that how things work here are, people are very distanced. They always maintain a certain distance. So when I walk in the forest, people mostly, more than half, they don't really look at you. They're like doing their thing. But in India, everybody's just like looking at you, smiling. Who are you? Hey, maybe it's, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but even Indian people do that. It's not like, I mean, maybe because of your skin color, they will, but even like Indian people, the amount of joy and love that I received and saw with Indian people, how they communicate with each other, was so beautiful. So this only I experienced in India and in Mexico, like, that people are so warm-hearted, that they are so not so much in the brain like we are in the West here, and they're like always intellectually analyzing everything. In India, it's more like feeling, intuition, and this is what I feel I was missing out my whole life. This being intuitive about what I want to do, what I like, and what am I really passionate about. And that's why I'm doing music, that's why I'm doing video and everything, because it's I would say only because of yoga, meditation, and visiting India, I really developed this intuition to listen to what is speaking out of me instead of what have I gathered from outside, from my parents, from my childhood, from my schooling and everything. What did people tell me, and what does this core, this inner being really want to do, you know, and how am I able to express it? So yeah, these, I think.
Awesome. Anas. So like where can the listeners reach out to you? Like where can they, like I'm sure many of the listeners are listening to this podcast, they would want to message you or DM you. So where can they?
Yeah. Instagram at Stevan, it's Stevan. Below, how do you even call that? Like the below.
Underscore.
Underscore KO. And then in Facebook, Stevan underscore Co. And then in Facebook it's same, just without underscore, Stevan Co. And then in YouTube, actually, I changed my name.
Oh, is it? What is it now?
Yes, so it's Stevan, and then my last name. But if you go on my Instagram, on my Facebook, you will find my YouTube. You know, it's easier than if now you write down my last name. But yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to reach out, who has any questions about Sadhanapada, I'm very happy to answer, and I mean, as much as I know, of course. And yeah, anything, always feel free to reach out. Happy to connect. I'm just, starting to actually throw, like, I've been sending you content to create more content and to really, be comfortable with what I'm doing. Still, as of like a month ago, I was like, what would people think? Like, especially friends and Germany and old friends, what they think. But then I was like, if I want to do the teacher training, if I want to live this life, and that's what I feel that I want to do, because I feel that's the only thing, there's nothing else that is more important than actually touching more people's lives. And for people to experience life not just through their five senses, not just through pleasure, but actually that which is beyond that. And because I have experienced that, not like, oh my God, I have experienced that, you have not experienced that. No, I have experienced that, so you can experience it as well. Right. For sure you can experience it. So that's why, share this with everybody, and whoever wants to reach out, please feel free. I don't know what's the timing. Do you know how long?
I think it's 2 hours, almost more than 2 hours.
More than 2 hours.
Yeah. I really hope, like someone listens to this and gets inspired to do Sadhanapada, or, take that first step.
Yeah. Sadhanapada and, general, just throw yourself into it. Like, even my dad, someone who's like, the funny thing is though, he discovered Sadhguru at the same time that I did.
Oh, okay. He
started to listen to videos in German language at the same time that I did my engineering in Toronto.
Okay.
It's crazy. Someone gave him like a book from Osho, and he was like, okay, interesting. But he was like, when Sadhguru speaks, he speaks with so much clarity that I'm just like taking away. My mind is like, and I'm here sitting and listening, And so if like someone like my dad is like open and receptive to do chanting and to do, breathe, like certain breathing, and sit on the floor and do the inner engineering online. Whatever tools you have learned, whatever tools please make use of it, please, because like this has brought so much into my life. Like, without these tools, I would not be where I am right now. And this does not mean that I'm somewhere, I'm not like, I'm not looking to go to some place, some destination, but just the peace, the peace of mind, the ease in the body, also how vibrant my body feels. Like, I'm able to hike for hours, and everybody will be like, and I'm just like, let's do it, Or even go to a party and, you know, like everybody's drinking, having fun for 1, 2, 3 hours, and then everybody's like, and you're still like, bah, bah, you know? So like this, I would say, if you feel like, you know, lazy or, you know, caught up or struggling, it's fine if it happens for a day, maybe. But to be honest, like Sadhguru is actually putting in his life into you by offering you these practices. And I just feel like I don't want to, you know, these, I just don't want to waste it. You know, I just don't want to, because I know, you know, on days when I eat more than I really need, on days when I eat sweets more than I need, on days I still have compulsions. It's not like everything dropped, you know. On days when I sleep longer, I feel the difference. And I just want you, if you feel like, you know, not doing your practices today, don't do your practices. Tomorrow, do them. And then, like, you know, 2, 3 days, don't do it. 2, 3 days, do it. And just see, and like once if you do it, like once if you do it, you will notice the difference. And once you notice the difference, you just have to remind yourself. And if you have done the inner engineering program, you have the tools. You just have to remind yourself, you know, just remind yourself every moment. Like Sadhguru says, if every hour doesn't work, every moment, just remind yourself why you're doing this. And not, I'm doing this because I want to get this and that. No, you're doing this because you have noticed a certain difference, you know, you have noticed, or even for me, maybe, you know, I noticed that other people are behaving differently, you know, or they're saying something. Like my dad, he told me, do you know, you don't remind me of anybody in the family. Like, you are not like anybody. And I was like, yeah, you know, karma. I'm getting rid of the karma. And this accumulation, which was happening for who knows, I'm just, you know, allowing it to fall down and allowing that which is bigger, larger than me to come through me. So I'm keeping myself open by doing the practices, and by keeping myself open, whatever needs to happen to me, whatever needs to come to me will anyway come, you know. And that's how I approach the art, the, you know, every, like editing and everything. I just see how, whatever comes to me naturally, and I run with it. I don't force it. I used to, I don't, it doesn't work. I don't know, I'm not watching all the time videos which are inspiring, because if you need like Sadhguru says, if you need inspiration every day, all the time, you need to watch something, then, you know, it's not really happening. But if you're consistently doing a practice, that's what my experience is, you naturally feel inspired. It doesn't need to be some like art or something. It can just be feel inspired to act kind today, feel inspired to be happy today, feel inspired to pick up some trash from the street, feel inspired to help someone in the grocery store. You know, like it can just be like small things which you might not think are because of it, but actually everything is, you know, since you, like if you have done the in engineering, or if you're thinking about doing it, once you do it, or if you have done it, you know, this is just with you. This is, you know, the seed is planted, and now it's up to you if you are watering it, or if you're actually like digging it out, looking at it, putting it back in, digging it out, you know. Like, I love this example so much, so because it's so true. So, and it's okay, you know, if you have a day where you're not feeling like, you know, I would say my suggestion is, since I have done the, you know, since I have done my first mandala and Shakti, these two I don't want to drop in my, like, I don't want to say this because it sounds ridiculous. I don't want to drop this in my life, but to be honest, like, even if I don't feel like it, I just know if once I have done it, after that I will feel better, you know. So even if I don't feel like it, and I'm doing it like, oh my God, you know, blah, blah, blah. Even if I do it like that, I know I will feel better, you know. And especially when I'm down, I know, or even if I'm like sick, even if I'm sick and I'm like, oh, my body feels like not doing it, especially then, especially because if everything is green and beautiful, then it's easy to do your practices. But if it's not, that's when you're asked to do it. That's when you need it the most. And this is my suggestion. This is what I learned from Sadhanapada, to, just throw myself into it, to do my best, and whatever best on that day. I do my best on this day. If it's not like the day before, fine, but do my best. And yeah, that's the wrap up.
Oh, wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, can you show us the DJ instrument once more?
Oh my God. What?
Yes.
Okay, Shambho.
Oh, you have a Dhanalika picture and all.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at my lamps are all going on.
Show us your room. Show us the picture so that the viewers can see.
But see, all the lamps are going off right now. About to go off. I need to put them back on. Yeah, this is what I take care of. It's like, I don't know. Can you see it?
Yes. What are the pictures
Yeah.
on that side? Yes. Show us the pictures.
Oh, it just went off. Oh, wait. The pictures here. Wait.
You can put the back camera also and show us. That's easier.
Do you see it now?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
So, this is me in Tenerife. Hiking with a stick, and then this is me in Mexico at the pyramids. This is a sunset in Mexico. This is a rainbow, like a crazy.
I can't see those pictures. Can you hold the camera a little bit? Yeah, now it's
because the pictures are actually bad.
No, I can see the angle, the camera angle. Yeah, show us like this. Yeah.
So this is a sunset in Mexico that I saw.
Did you click these pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Is that Kerala or what? A houseboat? No, that's not houseboat. I thought it's a houseboat.
And then this is me in Mexico. I have this picture on Instagram. And then Tenerife, Adiyogi, Sadhguru, Krishna, Sadhanapada batch. And then I went to the Triple I in the US.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the hike, Ishanga hike. I mean Ishanga. What is it called?
What is that? What is the people are holding there in their hands?
Oh my God, that was in Mexico. That was like a crystal that they it's a crazy experience. It's like I went to Mexico and I went to the pyramids, this one, and I was on top of the pyramid and suddenly I hear people doing Om chanting,
Oh.
And I was like, why are these people doing Om chanting, why are they? And then I saw them holding these two huge crystals, and I was like, why are they holding these crystals? And actually, it's like a whole science behind it. I mean, it's 64 crystals, octahedron crystals, and they have two of them. So one is here, and then they had another one. So one is for the sun, and one is for the moon. And I hold this crystal for like 5 seconds, and I felt like out of body. It was a crazy experience. It was like people who are like meditating together, and they're going to like the Egypt, like the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids in Mexico, and to different places in the world where there's like the energy is pretty intense, and they're charging the crystals are basically stones, just like a linga, just like Sadhguru is charging stones, like he did yesterday in the procession. Just like this, you can charge stones as well. I mean, yeah, there's a whole science behind it. So these are actually scientists who are doing this. And I was in Mexico visiting the pyramids, and suddenly, like out of nowhere, these people come up. They do Om chanting together, like group of 50 people doing Om chanting. The moment I'm there, I was like, what? It was crazy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to hold it like this, otherwise people will be confused. So yeah, Mexico was a crazy experience. And then I have
Do you have the Ishanga 7%?
I have. I'm sorry, what?
The Ishanga 7%. Do you have?
Yeah, that one. I have it.
Oh, finally everyone gets to see the Ishanga 7%. A lot of questions about
Really?
that. Yeah. People don't know much about this actually.
Yeah, basically 7%, right? Like Sadhguru takes care of 93%, and you give back 7%, meaning not necessarily money. It does not mean you have to be rich or something. You just, if you don't have money at all, you can throw yourself into volunteering and give 7% of your time. It's not like, I mean, definitely you can contribute with money, yes, and I don't think anybody's not making like no money. Actually, at that time when I got it, I was like, do I really, 7%, money, blah 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 blah. Why do they need my money? But if I really think about it, they are not using this money for something stupid. They are actually putting this money back into things which matter, and they're actually helping people in rural areas. They're actually planting trees. They're actually doing all these things which myself, would I really spend the money in that area? Probably not. So I think that they are handling my money much better than me, so I'm happy to donate. And it's, yeah, I mean, 7%, it was pretty much at the beginning of Sadhanapada when I got to do this. And I ended up, Sadhguru was there, and he kind of, it's not really an initiation, it's like a process that you go through. You learn how to do it with him, and then you keep it on. You keep it on, you do it every day, and if you don't do it, it's not like, you can always, I think blood relatives can do it. If you maybe travel or something, it's not like um, a yantra or something. It's, but definitely there are moments when I sit with it, and I feel a certain way, a certain presence. Kush, yoga for Kush, yoga.
Yeah.
He shared also that he was doing linga seva, and then at one point he sat in front of the Nanmai Udavam, it's called. He sat in front of it, and he was like 45 minutes in meditation. So just sitting with that, so that it's crazy. So yeah, like this. The funny thing is, what I've kind of been doing is hanging things on my wall that I want to do, and that I want to create. So one of the things that I have here is also the Isha Hatha Yoga teacher training. So it's kind of manifesting. Like you what you do is you it's called mind board. You have something on your wall, whatever you want to do. Let's say you want to,
Oh, this is something I want to do. A
or
Lamborghini is there. Is that a Lamborghini or a
yeah, it's a
Ferrari?
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah, we have to
it
manifest
doesn't
that
it
fast.
doesn't mean what happened actually. I won a Lamborghini ride.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got, I didn't get to drive it, but someone drove me. And I also won Audi R8. So like, these things are actually working, like
Yeah.
Chit Shakti meditation and Kalpa Vriksha. It's like these things are actually working. So yeah, this is a little bit like private sharing.
Inside look, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
These
I
all you
mean,
should put on your Instagram. People would love to see all this stuff.
oh, the pictures and all.
Yeah. Of you talking, hey guys, this is my room. Check this out.
You mean? Well, let's see.
So, thank you, Anna. So, thank you so much.
Sure. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yes. Okay. Is the
Sorry.
phone set?
Huh?
Is it set?
Yeah.
go. Oh no, Steven Anna went, I think. Let's wait for 1 minute. Hey, Steven Anna, where are you? So guys, I think Steven Anna left us suddenly. So I hope you like this podcast. And definitely I'll put out all the links in the description, right? Okay, I'm losing my context over here because I was expecting to give a nice end to this. But that's it, guys. Take care. Please reach out to Steven Anna. I hope this podcast inspires many of you to take that first step, and do whatever is most needed to make your well-being happen. Namaskaram.